trying to build.
Right, let's roll them. Hi guys, and welcome back to the Mighty Blues. My name is of course Cameron, and welcome back today to another live stream. It is the live game preview ahead of our Merseyside derby tomorrow night. Sorry, I had to clear my throat there. 5:30 kickoff, I believe it is, against Liverpool at Anfield. We are joined by Callum once again to discuss this one. What a fixture to be coming into off the back of what was... It was a disappointing defeat to Manchester City, I think we'd all agree. It wasn't massively unexpected, to be fair. Manchester City had an absolutely exceptional footballing side, and they showed that. On Wednesday night, they showed that certainly in the second half. They completely turned it on against us. But again, like I said, it was a better performance than the performance against Fulham last weekend, and ultimately we knew that would show a little bit of a reaction, and we knew that even if we did show a reaction, it mightn't be enough to get anything out of the game, and it wasn't enough. This is of course a different kettle of fish, the Merseyside derby at Anfield. We know our record isn't very good against Liverpool in general over the last decade or so, certainly not at Anfield, but it's a massive game for Everton. Carlo Ancelotti hasn't had his press conference yet. It is in the next half an hour or so, I thought we'd do the preview prior to the press conference so then we can cover that. But look, it's going to be extremely difficult. Liverpool haven't got a fantastic home record this season, neither have Everton, to be fair. And if anything, I didn't think I'd ever sit here and say this on the channel or in general conversation, at all. But if anything, I'd rather this game be played at Anfield than I would at Goodison Park. Everton have been atrocious at Goodison Park this season, absolutely atrocious. We were much better, against Manchester City, but we still, weren't good enough, clearly. And that's understandable because they are very good. But the Fulham result, the Newcastle results a couple of weeks ago, even West Ham on New Year's Day, it's just not being good enough. We've been a lot better away from home, and that's clear to see. And I think we're not the only team in the Premier League who have been a lot better away from home this season. Liverpool included have been better than they have been away than they have been at Anfield. But does any of that really matter, Cal? I mean, we're coming into it off the back of a win against Leeds a couple of weeks back, a draw against Manchester United at Old Trafford, showed a lot of character and a lot of spirit to get back into that game. We've beat Wolves recently away from home. We beat Leicester obviously in December away from home as well, Sheffield United. So does any of that matter? The fact that Liverpool haven't won a home game, I don't think, in the Premier League since the middle of December. Obviously, they've lost to Brighton, Burnley and Manchester City in the last sort of couple of weeks or so. It's a Merseyside derby, mate. The old saying is form goes out the window. The old saying is it doesn't matter how well you're playing. It doesn't matter how badly your opposition's playing. Form goes out the window. And I want to talk about the last Merseyside derby at Goodison because I think that pretty much confirms that theory. But should Everton be coming into this with a little bit of momentum in terms of away form? Obviously forgetting about our form at Goodison Park and, taking a little bit of positivity from the fact that we turned up and we kept Manchester City at bay for 45 minutes. Do you think this Everton team are going in with confidence tomorrow? And ultimately, is this the biggest chance we've had in years to get something out of Liverpool and Anfield?
Definitely. I think it's definitely the biggest chance, maybe one of the 2015 or 2016 seasons where they had like Balotelli, Benteke, Lambert, stuff like that. But besides that, no, this is the best chance we've got. It's the best squad we've had in years, in my opinion. It's the best talent pool we've had. The best manager we've arguably ever had. I think going into it, we need to look at Liverpool's away form and realise they can't handle it at home for some reason. It's like every other... like I said, it's like every other team in the league. It's like us. We're down there for some of the worst home form in the league. Liverpool are dreadful at home, I think Liverpool are another team, who are just not performing. So, if we have to take a look at it, we have to look at Liverpool have lost their last 3 home games. So why can we not come in and take advantage of that, especially if everyone's fit as well. They are coming off a good win against the Leipzig side, but then they are travelling back from Budapest. Some of them might be still a bit tired, so we're hoping that we can take advantage of that and we can hopefully pick up the first win in a Merseyside derby since 2010, I believe.
Yeah, first win in a decade. Be a first win at Anfield since Kevin Campbell scored that amazing goal. Obviously, we spoke to Kev a couple of weeks ago about that. I think I said it yesterday. I was on the Toffee Blues YouTube channel with Jordan. I said there's a mental game in the Merseyside derby for me, and there's definitely a mentality issue, and that mentality might be confidence issue. It might be confidence. That mentality issue might be that, you know, in previous years this group of players hasn't been as good as the opposition. And don't get me wrong, obviously we haven't beaten Liverpool in 10 years, and I do think there's been some times where we've turned up and they've just been the better team and they've beaten us because they are the better team. I think there's been some times where we've turned up and the referees haven't been on our side, or you know, decisions have gone against us. But I also do think there's been a lot of times where we've turned up and we just haven't had the mentality, or we haven't had that winning desire to go and beat them, whereas they have. I mean, one thing I would say is Liverpool generally are a football club that turn up and expect to beat Everton. They turn up, and even if they're on poor form, they think, right, this is a Merseyside derby, we're better than they are, nothing other than a win is acceptable. You've seen their mentality when they draw games against Everton. They're not very happy. Now, I don't think Everton's has been that way for certainly the last sort of 10 years or so, and hopefully with Carlo Ancelotti coming in, has only managed one Merseyside derby at Anfield. It was that FA Cup game that we won't even bother discussing, and that was only 2 weeks into his Everton managerial reign. And we have seen this season, even in parts last season, that the mentality of this group of players does seem to have changed. I don't think the Fulham defeat was mentality. I don't think the Newcastle defeat was mentality. I think that was pure complacency, and I think we just become, you know, we believed we'd won the game before the first whistle had even been blown. You look at Man United away from home, you look at Leicester away from home, you look at Chelsea and Arsenal at Goodison, Tottenham away from home on the opening day. We've shown that against these sides we have got the mentality to turn up. Even Manchester City on Wednesday, the first half, we fought, we battled, we you know, okay, they had 90% of possession and they were coming forward and they were, you know, creating chance after chance, but we turned up and we stood toe-to-toe with them for a good 45 minutes. And even when we conceded, we didn't sort of sit back and go, right, okay, that's it, now we've conceded, we're going to lose this game, don't go out and concede another one, just defend a 1-0 lead. We conceded and went, no, you know what, we're going to push up the other end of the pitch, we're going to try and create, we're going to try and get something out of the game. Now, obviously, we didn't, because, you know, in the second half, they sort of ran away with it, and they're a much better team than Everton are. But that does give me a little bit of confidence going into this one, Cal, because I think we've shown certainly this season that in these types of games, in these big games, we have the mentality to get back into them. Even if we don't start very well, we have the mentality to get back into them, like Manchester United also have it, like Liverpool at Goodison. And I want to talk about that Merseyside derby at Goodison earlier on in the season, because this is why I think form goes out the window, mate, to be honest with you. Everton had come into that game 7 wins out of 7. It was the first game back after the international break. Like I said, 4 out of 4 in the Premier League. We were top of the league, joint top at least. And Liverpool were coming into it off the back of a 7-2 strumming to Aston Villa. They'd just been absolutely embarrassed, eyes wiped, and we all thought, right, okay, these are vulnerable here. Defensively, they've been awful. You know, they haven't had the greatest start to the season. We've been absolutely on fire. Turn up and beat them. And within the first 10 minutes, they turned up and they were like a house on fire. They were just all over us, and we couldn't deal with that. And we look like a team that had just been beaten 7-2, and they look like a team that had won 7 games on the bounce. And I honestly think that's because their mentality is, you have to turn up against Everton and you have to put a performance in, and ours has to be like that tomorrow. Do you sort of agree with that, mate? Do you think this is as much of a mental game to win than it is a physical, you know, game of football? Ultimately, Everton should be coming into this tomorrow, for me, thinking Liverpool have lost, the last 3 games in the Premier League. You look at the City game, you look at the Leicester game, you look at the Burnley game, Brighton game. In each one of those games, they've made individual defensive errors. They've made shocking defensive errors. In fact, the goalkeeper has made about 4 blunders, which have led, directly to goals. Should we be looking at this thinking, go and put pressure on their back line, go and put pressure on their goalkeeper? I suppose my question, mate, is, should we have fear going into this game?
Yeah, we should have a bit of fear, but I wouldn't say it's defensive fear. There's no Virgil van Dijk, no Gomez, there's no Matip. You know, there's not even Davies who they signed from Preston. We've got an advantage here, and we need to push that defence. Listen, I still believe Alisson's a world-class goalkeeper. He's just made a few stupid mistakes, and it's looked worse because of the excuses Liverpool fans have given, like the cold feet stuff and that. Yeah. Alisson's a good goalkeeper. Kabak's young. I think he still has time to adjust. So we need to target the player who still needs to adjust. If they play Jordan Henderson at centre-back, like, I'm sorry, why can we not put 2 or 3 past the defence of Jordan Henderson and Ozan Kabak? Like, a guy who, no offence to him, was bottom of the Bundesliga with Schalke, and a defensive midfielder who passes sideways.
Yeah.
You know, like, I'm not trying to like say we're by far the better team, but if we have our full strength team, why can't we beat Liverpool? It's all about lowering those defensive mistakes. You know, Godfrey, I love him. Will he be able to handle Mane or Salah? I don't. He handled Mane well last time. He did handle Mane well last time, but I don't really know. I think he will start, but we'll talk about that later. But, you know, I think Carl has to be very smart about his lineup. He needs to make sure we've got players who are willing to run back, who are willing to bomb forward. To put it simply, we need energy. We don't need to, like someone's just put in your comments now, that we need to, that if we sit back, we'll lose. Let's not sit back. Let's have some energy. If we've got Allan back, we've got Davies, we've got Decore, we've got so much energy that can run around, that can pressure Liverpool. All you have to do is get someone on the ball, like someone not too sure of himself on the ball, like a Kabak, like Alisson recently, whose head will have dropped, and then you should go at him. Even Alexander-Arnold's head's probably dropped a bit. What's he been doing recently? Giving the ball away 30 times a game or something ridiculous like that. Why can we not punish this team? You know, Calvert-Lewin can. If Calvert-Lewin from corners just sits on Jordan Henderson, he literally should be able to jump over Jordan 2 times Jordan Henderson, so it shouldn't be a problem.
Yeah.
But, you know, I'm not completely confident. I'm not going to go in saying we're going to storm Liverpool, we're going to 4-0 them at Anfield. It's going to be a close game. It always is. I hope something similar to the 2-2 again, because we finally have had an exciting Merseyside derby after years of crap. Let's just put it like that.
Yeah.
This derby is usually so boring to watch, and it looks like both managers have realised, we're actually equals now. Liverpool can't just pass the ball around and then score in the 90th minute. We can't just sit 10 men behind the ball and then end up conceding to a Jordan Pickford mistake. But, you know, I think we played well against Say. I think we performed well, and the only reason we scored was because of stupid mistakes. You know, why is no one closing Mahrez down when he's cutting in on his left foot? Why is Phil Foden being left wide open to volley the ball? You know, like, even someone's just put about play on Thiago. Like, Thiago hasn't been that good either. Thiago's just been a Spanish Jordan Henderson and passing sideways 5 yards. Yeah. You know, I feel like we need to stop the core of this Liverpool team from being able to start attacks. Like, if you have to get a tactical foul on Salah, I'm not saying another Van Dijk situation, because we all know what happens if Salah gets injured.
Yeah.
Next 2 years of Everton injured, Van Dijk and Salah in one season. We'd have won the league if it weren't for Everton fans. You know what I mean? So I just want a good game. I just want us to show that we're equal with Liverpool, you know, in the squad sense, especially right now with all the injuries.
Yeah. Well, you mentioned there, Stewie's donated £5 to the live stream, by the way. Thank you very much, Stewie. We will get into the live comments. Loads of people involved in the live comments so far. So big thank you. If you are enjoying the stream, please do hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe as well if you're new. Share the stream. Let's get as many people in here as possible. You mentioned about Everton and Liverpool being equals. Well, the Premier League table, of course, you know, it echoes that. Liverpool currently sitting in 6th, 11 wins, 7 draws, 6 losses, 40 points, and Everton are sitting in 7th with 11 wins, 4 draws and 8 losses. So just a couple of more, you know, losses, and you look at those games that we've lost, you know, the Fulham, Newcastle, Leeds at home, etc. You know, all games that we should have been winning. And Everton are on 37 points. So if we beat Liverpool, we'll go joint level with them with a game in hand. Now, I think that does also show how well Everton have played this season, to be honest with you, and how good of a season it's been in general. I know recently it's not been very good, and the football hasn't been very good to watch, and when we lose games, if the football is, you know, if you defend and you don't really have much of the ball and you lose, then obviously you're going to sit down and go, that's a shock, and, you know, the football was awful, we were poor today. When you win, you think, well, you do all you can to win, and I think Carlo Ancelotti has done a magnificent job with this Everton squad that he's got so far, certainly considering a lot of these players last season were playing and we said they've got no future at the club, they're not good enough. He's made, you know, certain players improve, and he's made certain players sort of, again, get to this situation where there was a 50-point gap between Everton and Liverpool at the end of last season. There's now a 3-point gap. If we beat them, we go level with them and with a game in hand still, and that game being against, you know, an Aston Villa side, not now a game in hand against the Manchester City side, who were, you know, absolutely exceptional. So, again, look, it's going to be extremely difficult. I agree. I think we should be playing on the players that are prone to making mistakes. I'm not going to sit here and go into any specific Liverpool player because I know it'll come back and bite me on the arse tomorrow night. But I think it's a game that we can turn up and we can, show ourselves in. Like I said, for me, you've got to, you've really got to turn up and win the mental game as well. You've got to turn up and ultimately want it as much as they want it, because they mightn't have been fantastic at Anfield this season. They mightn't have as much quality as they did in last season, for example. But we need to turn up and we want it. And like I said, I've been impressed with Everton in the big games this season. Certainly the mentality of Everton in terms of getting forward. We had some belief against Manchester City, and okay, the second half was poor and we were chasing shadows, etc. But that's nothing to be unexpected. They're a very good side. This Liverpool side are prone to making mistakes, and we have to be able to jump on that, and we have to be able to take advantage of that. Like I said, we'll go into our predicted starting 11s in a moment, mate. But again, is this the best chance Everton have got of beating Liverpool in years? Well, everybody's better away from home this season. We've just spoke about Everton's away record. We've been excellent away from home this season. We really have. Liverpool have struggled recently. The fact that Liverpool haven't won a game at Anfield in the Premier League since December the 16th or something doesn't make this any easier for me, certainly. It just means that they've got the backs against the wall even more. And one thing we seen in the first Merseyside derby at Goodison Park was that Liverpool were coming into it with their backs against the wall. They'd just been embarrassed by Aston Villa. Everybody was saying this is Everton's chance to win it here. They've gone 7 wins out of 7. Liverpool have shown defensive frailties, and Liverpool turned up like a caged animal, basically. Always fear. I think they're saying something along the lines of you should always be aware of somebody that's got their backs against the wall, because they do unpredictable things to get themselves out of that situation. And I think we're in a similar situation now, as to that Liverpool have gone, they didn't go, I think they hadn't lost at Anfield in the league for 3 years or something like that. They've now lost 3 on the bounce against, Manchester City, which is understandable, but Burnley and Brighton. And the performances against those teams were woeful, absolutely woeful. So Liverpool will be thinking, we can't lose to Everton now, because that won't be acceptable. Losing to Burnley and Brighton's awful, but if we lose to Liverpool, if we lose to Everton, the fans won't take that. So we need to be aware that this is going to be a dangerous Liverpool team tomorrow. Is it a Liverpool team we can get at and we can beat? For me, absolutely. Certainly given our away form and the fact that they're probably a little bit low on confidence at the moment. But it doesn't mean that we should turn up and sort of just overlook, their quality, because they've still got quality. Salah constantly scores in Merseyside derbies. Mane, has threatened us before. Even their bench players that come off the bench, Origis and stuff like that, they always turn up against Everton. So it is going to be a difficult game for me. But it is a big chance. It is a big opportunity ultimately. And look, Everton have had 2 now defeats on the bounce, 2 defeats at Goodison Park. We haven't won a game since that Leeds game away, other than obviously we've had the Tottenham game in the Cup, but I'm talking about in the Premier League. So this is a big chance for us to show a reaction. We reacted against Manchester City, but it wasn't enough because obviously of the fact that they're just absolutely unbelievable. This is a big chance for us to turn up and show a reaction against a team that we can beat, and what a win it would be. Carlo's press conference is due to kick off in 15 minutes, so we don't know whether Dominic Calvert-Lewin will start. We don't know whether Allan will start, but he did say after Wednesday's defeat that he expects both to be fit to start because of the fact he didn't play on Wednesday. We'll get into some live comments then, Cal, and then we'll get back into it. Niall says, yes, Cam, yes, Niall. Everton Bot says, hey, Cam, Carlos pre-game press conference is soon. It certainly is. Everton Blues says, hey, can you Cam, do you think if Ancelotti doesn't win a trophy at Everton, do you think any manager can? Yeah, I think any manager can. I don't think Carlo is the be-all and end-all in terms of success at this football club. I just think that if any manager's going to win a trophy, it will be likely be Carlo Ancelotti, because he, obviously it's Carlo Ancelotti. He's absolutely excellent. Sorry, phone's just going off there on the side, making all sorts of rattling noises. Abigail says, I think it's going to be hard, but we can win against Liverpool, but I'd take a decent score draw. She also says, I'd love to see a team of Olsen, Holgate, Godfrey, Keane and Dean. Fair point. Jason says, hi Cam, really want us to win tomorrow, firstly, as it will be the first win in years, plus would wipe the smiles away from Souness and others in the media. How nice would that be? Everton Botch says, I'm nervous for Carlo's press conference. Stewie says, right lad, shared on Twitter. And Abigail says, Olsen, Holgate, Keane, Dean, Allan, on Yango, Decore and Konku, DCL and Richie. I don't think it's going to be that, but it's an interesting team. We will get back in the live comments in a moment. Dugout Football Channel, he's donated £5 as well. He says, thank you very much for coming on earlier, Cam. I really enjoyed the preview. Hoping for a very good game tomorrow. Keep up the good work on your channel. Thank you very much. If you haven't checked out, I've done a little opposition preview with Doug on the Dugout Football Channel about an hour or so ago. So go and check that one out. It's really interesting to talk to Doug ahead of tomorrow's game. Massive thanks for the donation as well. But yeah, Cal, like I said, it really shows the testament to how good of a job Carlo's done so far. Has it been perfect? No. Have some of the decisions in recent weeks been a little bit baffling? Yes, they have. We're going to have to be at 110% tomorrow, aren't we? We're going to have to work extremely hard. We're going to have to battle. We're going to have to fight. We're going to have to make it horribly difficult for Liverpool Football Club. What we can't do is turn up and allow them to just play their game. And obviously, Carlo went slightly defensive against Manchester City, and that's understandably so. They're a very good attacking team. And Liverpool, let's not forget, this isn't a million miles away from the Liverpool team who stormed the league last season and were scoring goals freely. Yes, they haven't been that team this season, but if there's any game they're going to turn up in and show last season's form, it'll be tomorrow. So we have to be aware, I think, more than fear. I don't think we should fear Liverpool tomorrow, because I think we should go out thinking, you know what, these are susceptible to defensive mistakes. These are susceptible to, making an absolute hash of it practically and allowing teams opportunities, but we need to be aware of their quality, and I think we will be. It's going to be really, really difficult, but why can't Everton turn up and win? In your opinion, Cal, if we are to turn up and win tomorrow, it is going to be a case of everybody has to give 110%, everybody has to fight, everybody has to show energy, show passion, show intensity. Who do you think is going to be the standout performer for Everton tomorrow if we can go there and get the 3 points?
I want to say Calvert-Lewin, because I feel like if we're going to score, it'll be through him, especially because of his threat against the Liverpool team. Let's face it, doesn't really much to stop going in the air and dominating them. But I'm going to go out there. I'm going to say Tom Davies. He's been, in my opinion, the best performer in the team the past few games. I think, let's face it, on that pitch, he cares the most about winning this game.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. He's an Everton fan, Everton Academy graduate, has really evolved his play under Ancelotti to the point where, like I've said in an article I wrote, we went from possibly selling him or loaning him out to Watford with an option to buy to him, in my opinion, being vital to this team.
Yeah.
It's not even that he's the best player. Let's face it. If we start Tom Davies is one of the worst players, arguably the worst player in our team. But that's not why he does well for us. He cares. He's passionate. He's an old player. He's someone you'd have seen under Moyes. He cares about the team, and he's going to perform for the team, for the badge.
Yeah.
That's why he's so good. Gomez, I just feel like I like him, and I like him, but the problem is that I just don't know if he's going to, bring the same things that Davies can bring, especially with Allan back. I feel like Davies and Allan together can bring a good, a dynamic together. Like going off technical ability, like I've said, going off pure ability, Davies is one of the worst players in our team. But that's how he's been so good. That the fact that he doesn't need all this ability like James or like Richarlison to play extremely well. He's got grit, he's got passion.
Yeah.
And that passion is what's going to help us win this derby, hopefully.
I agree, mate. And I think Tom has been absolutely excellent recently. And I don't think he gets as much credit as well. Some people are saying in the comments there, about him, not, again, like I said, working hard but not really producing much. I think he's been really good recently in terms of producing as well. I think he gets us out of some dangerous situations. I think he's got good footwork. I think his passing's been good. I think he's been comfortable and controlling on the ball. He hasn't panicked at times when we've needed just somebody to calm the game down, and I think he'll be a vital part tomorrow, to be honest with you. So anyway, having said that, let's get into our predicted starting 11. Again, we're recording this before, or we're filming this, we're streaming this before Carlo's press conference. That's due to kick off in about 10 minutes or so. But the assumption is the likes of Allan and Dominic Calvert-Lewin will be fit to return, because he said that that's likely going to be the case on Wednesday. So let's get into the predicted starting 11. Mate, you want to go ahead with your goalkeeper and backline?
Yeah, I'll go first. Bloody hell, mate. You keep putting me on the spot recently with me going first.
I love it, mate. I love it.
But, okay. I don't know. In goal, I don't know. Part of me doesn't want to go for Pickford because of what happened last time. Last time Pickford played, I don't like mentioning it, but he almost murdered a man. It was an accident. We all know it was an accident, let's face facts. But, is the pressure going to get to him? No, I'm going to put Pickford in because there's no fans. If there were fans, I'd say Olsen, but there's no fans, so I'm going to say Pickford. Pickford, I think he played decent against Man City.
Yeah.
That's the thing. Don't get me wrong, like Mahrez shot, he wasn't stopping. That was down to the defenders to stop. I think all the goals were quite hard to prevent and were more blame on the defenders than him.
Yeah.
I feel like Pickford offers more. Like, look at the last Merseyside derby. That save from the Matip header is one of the best saves I've ever seen a goalkeeper make.
Yeah, I agree.
Last Merseyside derby, he performed so well. Besides crippling Van Dijk, he performed really well. And here's the thing: is people in the chat here saying like Pickford's terrible. It has to be Olsen, but Olsen can't kick a ball more than 40 yards without slipping on his ass. Like, let's be brutally honest about it. If we play Pickford in goal, then we've got the ability to play out from the back. We've got the ability for an athletic keeper who can make saves when required. But I just think, Olsen's the safer option, but I feel like Pickford will perform better in this game. I feel like Pickford likes to turn up when he's needed. I feel like it's in the lesser games, like your Newcastle, for example, a Newcastle. And I don't think Pickford played, but that's just the first thing that pops into my head.
Yeah.
Or Leicester, where he makes silly mistakes or something. For the biggest of occasions, I feel like Pickford performs. But anyway, right back, I've gone for Ben Godfrey. Listen, I like Mason Holgate. Everyone knows I like Mason Holgate. So I just feel like there's just something about Holgate. I just feel like if we push forward, like Holgate likes to push forward, I've noticed it anyway. Holgate seems to always be in the final third and then just hoofs a crossing that goes miles wide. Don't get me wrong, Godfrey, it's not like Godfrey's going to come in and play these Digne level balls, but I feel like Godfrey's much more solid defensively. He's much quicker, and I feel like he brings a much better outlet when attacking. And if Godfrey's going to be on the same side as a certain Colombian attacking midfielder, then I feel like he doesn't need as much attacking responsibility.
Yeah.
And I just feel like he has to play. He has to play.
Okay.
Like I said, in my opinion, he's the best player on our team, form-wise.
Fair enough.
He's the best player on this squad. So then I'm going for the usual centre-back partnerships, Keane and Mina. Always solid. They've got a few mistakes in him, especially Mina's got a few mistakes in him. But like we've talked about, Mina's probably been, besides Godfrey, he's been the best one. Like, I can't put him over Godfrey. I can't put anyone in this team over Godfrey. But Mina's always performs in the big occasion, and I trust him. Keane's solid, I feel like these two will be very useful because of corners. I feel like we have to play these two because of corners. Let's look at the facts. How many goals? Mina and Keane have both scored, 3 in the league from corners?
Yes, I think so. Yeah.
Keane's got 3, Mina's got 2. Right, but I'm pretty sure Mina scored 1 in a cup game. But
Mina could be in. I think Mina's out because of that injury, the knock against Manchester City.
Is that confirmed?
He said on after the game on Wednesday that he not very likely to play. Obviously, we'll hear from him in a couple of minutes, but I think he's out.
Right. Well, if he's out, let's quickly change. If Mina is out, then we'll go Holgate right back, Godfrey, Keane, and then God's sakes, I actually didn't know that. That's my fault. I should have read up on that before.
It's all right, no worries.
And then we'll go Digne at left back because let's face it, he's the best left back in the league. There's probably a Liverpool fan in the chat now who's fuming that I've said he's better than Robertson, but
it's
the
true.
Stats, what's he got? 6 assists in 4 games left.
It's true, mate. It's true. He is
best back in the league. He's defensively solid. Don't get me wrong. He got embarrassed by Gabriel Jesus in the City game, but everyone gets embarrassed every now and again.
Yeah.
So I think that's the back line. I think it's a good blend of attacking and defending because we are going to have to stay back at times. So, we will need to make sure we've got that defensive solidity. But, yeah, I think that's the back line we should use.
Yeah. No, spot on. I'm going for Jordan Pickford in goal. I think Wednesday's performance was, a sort of, I think an opportunity for Carlo Ancelotti to see whether Jordan could step in and put in a decent performance, and I think he did. I don't think he done much wrong on Wednesday. Okay, maybe he could have blocked the third goal, but I think at that point everybody had just really given up. Definitely couldn't do anything about Mahrez's goal. Don't think he's at fault for the Phil Foden's goal either. But yeah, I'm going for Jordan Pickford in goal. Again, no crowd will obviously quieten out those sort of fans that would usually be on his back. Plus, I do think Liverpool might target him, and somebody said in the comments before, Liverpool will target Pickford, so go with Olsen. But I think Jordan will step up, to be fair. I think in terms of shot stopping, he's a better shot stopping goalkeeper than Robin Olsen is. I think his distribution's better than Robin Olsen is. He just maybe his decision making isn't as good. But I think this is going to be a game where Liverpool have a lot of chances and opportunities on goal, and I think Jordan, certainly against Manchester City, he come up with a couple of really, really big saves against Gabriel Jesus as well. So I've gone with Jordan Pickford in goal. I've gone with the back line of I've gone with Luca Dean at left back, Ben Godfrey and Michael Keane at centre back, and then I've gone with Seamus Coleman at right back. I just think he'll go with Seamus. Obviously it's a toss up between Seamus Coleman and Mason Holgate. I think Mason has done well recently, but he has sort of struggled. And I think, let's be honest, I think, like I said, I think Seamus Coleman's obviously the more experienced. He's the captain of the club, and I think he's likely to play in this one. Centre-back partnership, like we mentioned about Mina before, I think Mina will be out, so I'm going with Michael Keane and Ben Godfrey. I'd rather Ben Godfrey in there than Mason, to be fair. I think Ben Godfrey is I think he's more solid. I think positionally he's more solid, and I think he's just a better defender, if I'm being honest with you. It probably is close, but I think he's a better defender, to be honest. And then I've gone with Luca Dean at left back, obviously firing down that left hand side, being our creator, throwing those balls into Dominic Calvert-Lewin, hopefully, and causing Liverpool issues. So that's my back line and goalkeeper, mate. Have you gone for it in midfield?
Right, well, I've gone for a midfield three. I've gone for Allan, Decore, and Davies. It looks like Allan's going to be back. It does look like Carlo. I believe you said that Carlo rested him so he could get a few days extra training in before the derby. Was that right?
Yep, spot on.
Along that lines, like we've gone on about Davies. Like I said, I think he needs to be in the team. And Decore, here's the thing. I feel like with Allan and Davies, Davies has adopted a new role. Davies kind of plays the Allan role now.
Yeah.
So I feel like we have those two players who, they won't really bomb forward. They can if they need to. Allan's a great dribbler when he's on the ball. Davies has improved massively dribbling. He's caught me off guard sometimes. But I feel like having those two allows Decore to get forward a little bit more. Me and you have constantly been talking about how Decore is this box-to-box midfielder who's had to play the Allan role. He's finally got Allan back. So now Decore can get forward. He can help interlink in the attack. He can play those passes. Decore should now have the freedom to be that box-to-box midfielder.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I think he is a bit tired, and people have mentioned it in the chat. So I don't know. He might be a bit too tired to play the box-to-box role, but we might as well give him the opportunity to play it. He's been up there for best player of the season. Another fantastic signing. And I just don't think we have any reason not to play Decore or Davies. And Allan, I'm so excited to see him back. I'm so excited. We finally have that steal in midfield. Don't get me wrong, Davies brings a bit of it, but no one brings that steal like Allan.
Yeah.
Allan's going to get in, probably get a yellow card, and then be banned for the next Premier League game because that'll be his 5th yellow card. But then, I think we need him for this derby. I think he brings the aggression that we need. I think he's going to be constantly on someone like Thiago or whoever they play. He's not going to let anyone get away from the ball. He's a pit bull, and that's why we love him. So, that midfield three, I feel like we finally got the midfield three we've wanted all season.
Yeah. No, I agree. I'm going with the same midfield three. I'm going with Davis, Decore, and Allan. I think it's a big game for Tom Davis. I think it'd be a lot of trust in Tom Davis, to be honest with you, to step in there. I think he's been brilliant recently. I think he's showed his ability. He's good with the ball at his feet. He's quick with the ball at his feet. He can move it forward. His passing's been good. And I just think he deserves it, to be honest with you. Gomez hasn't done much recently to warrant deserving a start. Sigurdsson hasn't produced anything, and I think if any midfielder deserves it next to Allan and Decore, it's Tom Davis. Like you mentioned, Allan, really excited to see him back. Hopefully, like I said, Carlo's press conference is starting in a second, so hopefully he is confirmed to be starting, but really, really exciting to see him back. He's been excellent this season. We've missed him massively since he's been out. It'll be a tough game for him back, but hopefully, with the extra couple of days rest of not being involved against Manchester City, he'll be ready to go again. And then I absolutely agree, Decore as well. That hopefully that box-to-box, getting forward a little bit more, creating more opportunities, and ultimately being that big physical presence in the centre of midfield. So same midfield for me, mate. Who are you going for as a forward line?
Well, I'm going for the classic front three. It's got to be, it's James, Calvert-Lewin, Richarlison. I'm hoping Calvert-Lewin's back. I don't know if he says anything in the press conference. Could someone put it in the chat if Calvert-Lewin's going to be playing? Because I can imagine that's going to be the first question he gets.
Yeah.
But, that's, actually saying that's Carlo Ancelotti. He'll probably sit there, drink a coffee, have his breakfast, and then start the press conference.
Yeah.
But, I do think Calvert-Lewin's fit and ready to play. I think Carlo knew it was a light injury, but he didn't want to take any risks, so he made sure, make sure Calvert-Lewin's, fit and ready for the Merseyside derby. He got an absolute wonder header against them last time. We can't take him out. Richarlison looks like he's hitting form again. don't get me wrong, it bounced off his knee. Richarlison didn't mean to score that, but you take what you give.
That's it.
You know what I mean?
That's it.
You take what you're given. He was in the right position in the first place. We've got to look at it like
That's
that.
it.
So, Richarlison's on form. Him and Calvert-Lewin. It's him, Calvert-Lewin, and James. To say James has only been here for bloody 6 or 7 months, the connection between those three is unreal. It's especially James and Richarlison. It's like James has been here for 2 or 3 years.
Absolutely.
With the connection sometimes. But I feel like one thing with James, I feel like, I don't know if this is just me, but is it just me who thinks James needs to dribble the ball a bit more?
Yeah, I understand where you're coming from. I do understand where you're coming from, but I don't necessarily think that's his game, to be honest with you. I think his game is more, sort of getting it and giving it and looking for that pass over the top. Daniel says DCL is back, Carlo is live, so there you go. I assume Carlo has confirmed that Calvert-Lewin is back and ready to play, which is excellent news. But no, I think, yeah, maybe. Yenny and Gabam out, everyone else is back. Happy days. Thank you very much for letting us know, Daniel. But yeah, no, I think I understand where you're coming from. I just don't necessarily think that's his game as much.
Right, yeah. I don't mean like fully like Adama Traore or Jack Grealish. You know what I mean? Where you just, instead of just trying to one-touch pass it, just roll it off your foot, take a few steps, then hit it. But, listen, it's his first season in England. And speaking of James, before we go on, have you seen the bloody, who is it? Is it BBC of bloody the agenda against Everton? They've put that James Rodriguez might leave.
Oh, yeah, there was a nonsense rumour the other day about him not liking the weather or some crap that somebody's made up, sat in their bedroom bored on a Monday night or something. Yeah, it's absolutely nonsense.
It's easy, isn't it, if they're foreign, just say they don't like the weather. It's just easy.
It's nonsense.
But anyway, James, like I said, he's the key creator of the team. He's got goals and assists this year. Listen, to say he's played so little games and to say he's, in my opinion, I don't think he's been fully fit once this season.
Yeah.
I think he's got nagging injuries, and I feel like, there is still, we're still to see the best of him. And listen, let's hope we get the best of him against Liverpool.
Absolutely.
Carlo's rested him. James comes out and he's like, you know what? You haven't won a Merseyside derby in 10 years. Let me show what I can do, and then just dominate a Liverpool defence that's not there. Because don't get me wrong, right? We know what's going to happen if we win this game. We know what's going to happen. Liverpool fans, we don't have Van Dijk. We don't have... Yeah.
Injuries, mate. That's always the excuse, isn't it? Injuries.
It's always the excuse, but at the same time, everyone... You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Everyone deal with it. But I feel like this front three, it's our best front three. I love Josh King, and I feel like if Calvert-Lewin wasn't starting, I feel like Josh King should start instead of Sigurdsson. Hopefully, there's no Sigurdsson near this starting 11. I want Sigurdsson to be social distancing from the starting 11. Let's just put it like that. Listen, I understand he played well against Tottenham, but he's one of the most, if not the most, inconsistent player I've ever seen.
Yeah. No, I agree.
Yeah, let's just hope it's this front three, and let's just hope for a win.
I agree. I think the thing is with Sigurdsson, it's the same with Gomez. You can't have Sigurdsson and Gomez in the team with James because they're all luxury players and they don't do much work off the ball. There's not much battle off the ball, and in this game we're going to need a lot of battle. We're going to need a lot of fight, and that's why I've put Allan, Decore and Davis in the midfield, because that is constant battling, it's constant fight. The good players on the ball, but they'll also work hard off the ball. Sigurdsson and Gomez won't, and obviously you've got to have James in there for the creativity. My front three is the same. Dominic Calvert-Lewin up top, obviously confirmed now by Carlo that he is back, and then I've gone for Richarlison on the left and James on the right. That creativity from James Rodriguez is going to be vital in this game for me if we're going to create opportunities to come away with something out of this game. And sorry, something just popped up on my computer. Dominic Calvert-Lewin again back, hopefully back on the goal scoring run. Got back into the goals before he went off injured, and now he's back, which is fantastic. And Richarlison, who, again, like you said, it wasn't the greatest finish, but he had to be there, right place at the right time. And I thought, actually, taking away the goal, even taking away the goal on Wednesday, I thought Richarlison was very, very good. He worked hard, he fought, he held the ball up well, he didn't give it away in silly times when we needed to keep a hold of it. I just thought he'd done really, really well. So, look, there's our predicted starting 11s. I think exactly equal, to be honest with you, mate. It's going to be a tough game. Jaden says, yeah, after the Merseyside derby last time, you would go onto any social media and say, OMG, we don't have Van Dijk pick, which should get sent off and we were cheating, which actually is the opposite. Don't really understand that, mate. Eddie says he's almost scored against Fulham, even when we played terrible, and he almost scored, so King should start. I don't think he will, mate. I don't think he will, especially if Calvert-Lewin and Richie are back. Philip says Joey, no, mate. Philip says social distancing. Joey says, you reckon Gomez is finished at Everton? I don't think he's finished. I just think he shouldn't be starting. Certainly not these games where we're going to have to do a lot of work off the ball. Barry says, Josh King should not start. Sigurdsson and Hammers can't play together. I agree. Niall says, yeah, got everyone back except from Meenan and Kabam and get him. He's right. Jane says, Hammers is class. Joey says, I want to see Kabam back soon. Jane says, who do you think is the best player on the team? Difficult at the moment. Ben Godfrey's got to be up there, to be fair. Calvert-Lewin as well is up there, of course. But yeah, Ben, it'd be difficult to argue against there. Ben. Daniel says, DCL's back. Jane says, yo, remember me? Yes, mate. Joey says, playing City would be like playing Barcelona in their dominance, different teams, but unstoppable. Yeah, I agree. Barry says City are unreal. Exactly. So there's no embarrassment in losing on Wednesday against Manchester City, but we have to turn up tomorrow, and ultimately we have to perform, and we have to get something out of this game, because they're susceptible to defensive errors and they're susceptible to making mistakes, and we have to make them, punish them for that. But yeah, look, Cal, massive thanks for joining us again on this one. It's going to be tough. It's a Merseyside derby. It's at Anfield. Despite their home form, despite our away form, it's going to be a difficult game of football, but certainly one that we can, like I said, make them pay for their defensive errors, put a little bit of pressure on them. If we've got energy in the midfield, which I think we have to have Davis, Decore and Allan in there, then I fancy us to battle hard and take our chances going forward. So massive thanks for joining us, Cal. Anything to finish up on before we go?
Just the usual, like I always say. Follow me on Twitter. Got an article on Prince Rupert's Tower about the Man City game. If you want to read that, I feel like I do focus on a few things that we've said in this about looking into the Liverpool game. Maybe expect an article on Carlo's press conference. We'll see. I might have to rewatch it, and then obviously I expect after the game. I'll probably finally be back with an instant match reaction to the Merseyside derby. Big game. And I thought it was. I'm not going to lie to you, mate. I thought we played on Sunday. You've just reminded me on the stream.
Tomorrow at R5, mate.
I thought we played on Sunday. Good thing I didn't plan anything for tomorrow. But yeah, that's it, really. Just follow me on Twitter. Read my articles, please. And yeah, you finish up, Cal.
Is right. Go and drop Cal a follow. Obviously, read all the stuff on Prince Rupert's Tower as well. Massive thank you for watching. If you have enjoyed this one, leave it a like. Big thanks to everybody in the live comments as per usual. Sorry we couldn't get through them, but a massive thanks to everybody. If you've enjoyed this one, please do leave it a like. If you're watching as a YouTube video, leave your thoughts in the comment section and we'll get involved with as many of them as we possibly can. Massive thanks for watching. Massive game tomorrow, of course. Obviously, we'll have the instant match reaction and the play ratings up directly after the game as well, so look out for those. Big thanks for watching, and we'll see you soon on the Mighty Blues. There you go. Happy days.